This week, it transpired that Foreign Secretary Liz Truss had flown all the way to Australia and back on a private government jet, thus creating a carbon footprint even bigger than the pauses that she takes before answering questions. This journey cost taxpayers a whopping £500,000, which is way more expensive than flying on one of the daily flights to Australia from the UK operated by Qantas. Right, two things. Number one, nobody bemoans the Foreign Secretary travelling to Australia, seeing as that's who we're having to make trade deals with now. In the wake of Brexit and its big Union Jack tattooed bollocks smashing through all the normal relations with our European neighbours. Personally, I can't wait for the UK to vote to leave the global economy so Liz Truss can start jetting off to make intergalactic trade deals with the Klingons and Jabba the Hutt. But this trade deal with Australia was initially billed by the government as a big deal for the UK. It was going to save us all loads of money and be a much needed boost for the economy. And then it was revealed how much this trade deal would actually save us in real terms. For every household in the UK, this deal is going to save us £1 a year. That can't be right. Is that it? Can someone check that? £1 a year? What are you going to do with £1 a year? What, buy a scratch card? Or put the heating on for 2.5 seconds? And secondly, I'm not expecting cabinet ministers to travel like the rest of us. Of course I'm not. I understand they've got important business and a certain level of discretion is required. You don't really want your government ministers sat in economy class surrounded by Sandra and the girls on the way to Magaluf. Liz Truss trying to have a quick powwow with the junior ministers about export tariffs while Sheila's dishing out the Bacardi Breezes and the willy-shaped novelty straws. So you get on a Qantas and you all sit in first class. We don't mind that. But of course, loads of people leapt to Liz Truss's defence, and one of the arguments is that apparently the ministerial code allows the Foreign Secretary to make decisions like this to use the private plane. The ministerial code. I must say, whipping out the ministerial code at this stage, when you look at the recent behaviour of those blood-sucking dung beetles in charge, is just like half the cabinet off the back of some dodgy PPE contracts. A bit rich. Because this code is supposedly there to keep those elected in check. Point 1.1 of the ministerial code states, ministers of the Crown are expected to maintain high standards of behaviour and to behave in a way that upholds the highest standards of propriety. So we're literally on the first point of the code, and it's clear that this code has been ignored like an older sibling when your mum and dad go away for the first time and leave you in charge of the house. Nobody's abiding by this code. I've had a good look at the ministerial code and it's 36 pages long, so I took the liberty of rewriting it. My version just says, don't be a cunt. So this flight cost £500,000, creating an additional 500 tonnes in CO2 emissions, which is almost as much noxious gas that was released into the atmosphere as when Boris Johnson sung You Can't Touch This on karaoke at one of the lockdown breaking knees-ups that definitely never happened. But do these out-of-touch reprobates not understand how badly this all plays? From all of this, we can only deduce that not only do they not care what we think, they know that whatever we think will have no impact on the power that they hold. But yet they're still surprised when people get annoyed at them, even though they spend every waking moment either telling us there isn't any money for vital services or taking all that money that isn't there to give to their friends and cronies or spunking it up the wall on another private plane trip around the planet. And there's talk of Liz Truss one day succeeding Boris Johnson. And judging on her track record so far of poorly made decisions and terrible performances in interviews on television, where she seems able to speak for long periods without saying a single thing, that would not surprise me at all. All hail lavish Liz. Also, this meeting in Australia, could you not have done it over Zoom?